Hi guys, I'm Angie. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, hasn't it? Well, I did post a video on Thursday that did not upload of storms rolling in. Then I'm still trying to upload now. So, well, it took until just now to realize that it tried all this time, but still wasn't able to. It said cannot upload file. I don't know why. So today though, I did get some new molds. So I've been making some new, oh, look at these. This is resin art at its finest. Like I got these little molds for making different kinds of flowers. So what I'm gonna do today is show you guys something that I just had a brainstorm about, an idea of something that I wanna try, and we're gonna see how it comes out. I did something similar before with just the dichroic film and some resin. So this is the back, this is the front, but look at those colors. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. But I'm gonna use these little wooden circles that I found at Hobby Lobby. They come in a pack of like 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, of 6. So basically this is my silicone mat here. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna get my Let's Resin, UV resin, clear hard type, and I'm gonna just make a background for this on this, or in the middle of this wooden, just this wooden circle here. So similar to the one I already made, but so I'm just gonna pour some resin in there while I'm kind of pushing it down, because I think the proper way is to use the tape that these would stick to. That way none of the resin comes out or anything like that. But since I don't have any of that right now, and I've done this once before and it worked perfectly, I'm gonna just do it this time. So I'm gonna make sure that it's I need just a hair more. Make sure it's like touching all the edges, that I have enough for the bottom part here. That's perfect. So let me cure that as I'm holding it down. And then I'm going to make a rose like one of these, and then I'm gonna put it in the middle. But I wanna use my dichroic films as well as a background for that. So this is 2 dichroic films that I had heated with my heat gun and basically glued them together, sort of, I guess you could say. And then I put some glitter in between. So it's very, very shimmery, very colorful, and it's gonna look fantastic behind one of these roses. I'm gonna make a rose. This is kind of a red one with some gray or silver. I guess I use silver. And then this is a purple, sparkly purple one, but it is missing one of its leaves here. So that was kind of just a practice. I was just basically seeing what I could do with some of these new molds I got. They're absolutely fantastic. I just love them. Love, love, love. I got them on Amazon. They were not expensive. I've made some really cool, like if you can see that one, that's really a glow in the dark, orange and yellow. And when it's lit up and when it's dark outside, it's really, really dynamic. It's really super cool. But that's one of the molds. That is it that one? No, maybe it is that one. Well, either way, no, I think it's this one. But super cool. And some of these just come out really, really, really awesome. Okay, so that seems to be cured. I'm gonna pick it up slowly off of our thing here, and then I like to flip it over, which is something that needs to be done, and then cure it on the back side as well, because I did leave some wet UV resin there too, so we'll dry that up. And then let's figure out what color of a rose we want to make. So I've made a red one, I've made a purple one. I was thinking pink. I've made a blue one. This is kind of a blue one with some black tips. It came out a little darker than I expected it to, but we're gonna use this mold here. This is our rose mold. Let's move these other ones just really out of the way here. We're gonna move them over here. So I'm gonna mix some colors for this. Let me get my resin here. I'm gonna mix it in this little bowl here. I just mix resin. That should be enough. I do have a white. I'm gonna use 1 drop of, and then we're gonna see what our color looks like. I'm gonna use a drop of this pink as well. Maybe 2 drops, because I love pink. Look at how that mixes together. That's really cool. Of course, I have the red glow in the dark. It's a powder, and I like to add that to all my pieces that I've been making recently because it just makes them look super cool. All right, I can peel that off now. All right, let's get rid of that. Let's mix what we have here so far and see what color we've got. It's pretty much like a bright, bright pink. I don't know, I'm a glitter girl, so I'm gonna add some, I've got some of this, I don't know, it's kind of a fuchsia color of glitter. I'm gonna add some of that. That was probably a little excessive, but I can't help myself sometimes, so y'all have to bear with me. You just have to enjoy it with me. All right, there's a little pink. This is called Cameo Pink, and it does have some really, like some tiny little green glitter pieces in it as well, just to give it more depth, I think. Okay, how's that look? Is that too dark? That may be too dark. I think what I may do is, where is it? Where? Here, right in front of me. I do have this white diamond dust that I've used in some of my other pieces, so I'm gonna put just a little bit of that in there, and we're gonna see how that, oh, that was a loud squeak. We're gonna see how that makes it look. That's nice. Can you see that? I think that looks fantastic. Maybe a drip of white just to lighten it up a bit. 2 drips. 2 drips, drops, drips, drops. I don't know, whatever. Okay. That looks fabulous. I like that color. Kind of reminds me of bubblegum or Barbie dolls. I don't know. Maybe Barbie dolls and bubblegum. Anyway, so that's good. So we're going to, okay. We're gonna go ahead and pour that into our mold here. Can you guys see that okay? I know I can't, I'm not very good at zooming in and all that jazz. But what I'm gonna do is just kind of make sure that it's in all the crevices and the little bubbles come to the top. I'm gonna make it the whole thing the same color, kind of like I did the purple one. The red one was kind of 2 colors, but it didn't come out exactly like I had envisioned it, but I mean, that's okay because everything is a test, and then we kind of hope for the best when we're making something, right? But these are just little silicone molds. I think they came in a 7 or 8 pack, 7 pack I think is, I got them on Amazon. Just super, super duper. I just love them. I've had so much fun with them already, and I just got them yesterday. So, and I missed you guys, so I thought I would make a video here. I mean, I had reached out and tried to make a video, you know, like I said, on Thursday of the storms, but for some reason, YouTube did not post it. So, see, there's a bubble came up. So here we are. Oh, there's another bubble. When you have bubbles in your resin, just for those that don't know, when you have bubbles in your resin, that usually will leave an indent in your piece. Can you see that right there? See that little indent right there where you're missing some? That was a bubble at one point. Can you see that right there? That was a bubble at one point. So that's where a bubble sat and didn't have any resin in it. So we don't want that. Not that we can't fill it in if we realize it before we run out of that color resin, but see, I didn't have any more of the silver because I had used it all in that piece. So anyway, not a big deal. Okay, I think that seems to be good. Pop those bubbles. All right, let's put it under the lamp for, we're gonna do 90 seconds on this side. And then let me move some of these little pieces out of the way here, my little tester roses and such. Look at this cute little thing with this little butterfly. I mean, how adorable is that? And then I made it in blue as well. How cute. So just let me move some of these out of the way. So, I have been really working like crazy making a whole bunch of pieces. My Etsy store is not, I'm having trouble with it. This is something cool I made last week. So I've made really a whole bunch of, I mean, look at this. Look at how gorgeous that is. Yes, I made that too. Anyway, so let's go back to this piece. This piece, we're gonna flip it over so we have like the inside part, and we're gonna cut a piece of our dichroic film here to fit inside that hole. So I want it to fit pretty much exactly in the hole. So I kind of have to just, let me see if this, no, that's a little bigger. Anyway, we're gonna cut it out here first, and then we'll shrink it to size. So we'll just use this as a, a marker, you know, just to get the shape of it, which is obviously just a circle, but we'll do that while we're waiting for our stuff to cure. Look at what happens when you put it, oh, it just looked really blue under that UV light. The UV light just adds the coolest stuff to it. Okay, that feels good. Let's flip it over, and we're gonna do the other side. We're gonna put it on 90 seconds more on the other side, and then I've gotta shrink this down. So we probably have to cut off, because I want it to fit exactly in the middle of this circle with no overlapping, no underlapping. And hopefully that's gonna be our background for this rose we're making. Nope, we've got a lot of overlapping there, so let's trim again. Let's trim some more. That would be Wishbone, wanting to get his 2 cents worth in. Getting closer, closer. We just need to trim a little off one of these edges here. Well, you know, my daughter is playing her game with her friends. I did tell her I was making a video, but, you know, I really don't have a lot of space on my own where I can create and make things. So, you know, I'm at the kitchen table here, which is fine. I mean, I don't care. It's whatever. All right, so I want this side to be up because this side is the cool side. So this side has to fit in here, and it does. So basically I want to put, because it fits so good, I may need to trim just to, you know what, I don't really think I need to trim too much. All right, I'm gonna flip this over and just cure it one more time. I like to make sure that it's really cured good before I take it out. Let me just get a sip of my coffee here. Okay, so next what we do is we take our resin, here we are, and we put our resin in here. We're gonna make another on the inside. We wanna cover it enough so that when we put our dichroic film on there, that we don't get any bubbles. So as you guys can see, there's a couple of bubbles. Sometimes they'll pop on their own. Sometimes I gotta pop them. Sometimes I have to hit them with the torch. So before I put my dichroic film in there, I wanna make sure I don't have any. So that kind of heats it up. Okay, looks good. Looks pretty good, I'd say. Okay, so then we want our pink side to be up, so let me stick that in there. Now, what I typically do when I put dichroic film in something is I will look at it with my small UV light, which is this one, from underneath. just to see if there are bubbles and where they are. And there are bubbles. And sometimes I can push them out. Sometimes I have to. Sometimes it's a bit of a challenge. All right, let's move this over here so you guys can see. Let me do this. So we'll push this along this edge here. I mean, I do have tweezers I could be using. I don't like air bubbles in my work, although you won't be able to see it really because that's from the back side that I can see them. Although sometimes when I add a layer on top, it helps to work those bubbles out. But I don't want it too thick either to where we're not gonna be looking how I want it to look, so. All right, let's look and see. We've still got some air bubbles. But what we're gonna do is, let me clean this stick off. I use some rubbing alcohol to clean my stick off here. And then as this is curing, I push this down, and that will sometimes release some of the bubbles too. And it does, and it is. But I have to make sure not to get my sticks stuck because it is curing the stuff on top. I may have to put another layer on there because it's not flat anymore because I pushed on it to get the bubbles out. Anyway, but it is gorgeous. It's beautiful colors, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so while that's curing, we can go ahead and pop our rose out. So let's first separate the sides. There it is. And then, oh, it's not all the way cured. Well, that's heartbreaking. See that? Can you see that? It's not all the way cured. I'm kind of disappointed because I did it on both sides, but I mean, that happens, and nobody's perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this over and I'm gonna put this under the light, and it's gonna have to cure that way for 90 seconds. And then I'm gonna have to go ahead and re-cure that as well, so I can pick that out of there. Now, that's not been happening a lot with a lot of my, with a lot of these silicone molds, although these ones are not necessarily made for UV resin because they're not see-through-ish, but, and they are a little bit thicker. But you know what? It's okay. So, all right, we'll let that cure. We'll let this one's done curing. So basically what I'm gonna do with this, boy, look at that side. That is pretty. Maybe I'll use that side. I mean, I can use, maybe if I didn't have a bunch of gunk on this side here. Let's get a little rubbing alcohol and see if we can get that off, whatever that was. But this is not the side I was going to use, but that is actually really pretty. Oh, I'm not even showing you. That's really pretty. And so is this. Can you see? Both sides look really fantastic. Although this side you can see a bubble on it. Let's cure it from this side just so that we're covering all of our bases. So I'm not sure which side I'm going to use now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the rose onto it and then maybe paint the edge, what do you think? Should we paint the edge or should we maybe make it match the rose. I don't know. I don't know if I want to epoxy it or paint it. Maybe painting it black would be really cool. Let's grab some paint while we're considering. Where's my black paint? It's not black. That's black. While that's curing, I wonder, can I do it? I did order some more dichroic film from Little Windows, again, because I absolutely love it, and I think I've used all of this except for this little piece of this blue, and this is my absolute favorite blue. It's the one that when you put the black behind it comes out like this, if you can see that. I mean, that is just, that's like my new favorite color in the whole world. Is that dry? Okay. That seems to be good too. Now, how does that look on there? Look at that. Look how pretty that looks. Like, I haven't made any of these. I just had the idea come to me. So I think I should, it does have some bubbles in it. Can you guys see the bubbles in it? Probably not, but I can. And it kind of bothers me, but I'm thinking, let me get some water really quick. Actually, I have the spray bottle. So let's paint this edge. Let me put my, let's cure that rose a little more just because it wasn't done. I don't know how this is going to come out. I'm painting the wrong side. Well, I guess I got to paint the whole back of it, huh? There's a fly. It's bothering me. Shoo fly. Don't bother me. Shoo fly, don't bother me. Shoo fly, don't bother me. 'Cause I belong to somebody. Did you guys ever sing that song when you were a kid? Like, flies are just so bad. I don't know what they're swarming over, but I had my dad in his wheelchair. Today, I had him out front so he could eat his breakfast outside. I like to do that. Well, I like to do it once a week, but yeah, that's him coughing. But I'd like to do that once a week, although I don't always. But I did have to mow today too, so I wanted to have him be outside while I mowed the yard, which I did. But anyway, so while he was trying to eat his breakfast, or sleeping in between me giving him bites of his breakfast, the flies were just nuts over his food. Like, I was sitting out there just drinking my tea because I had already finished my coffee at that point, and I go on to green tea after that, and then just the flies were absolutely nuts over his table, like his little table that he has that's attached to his wheelchair. Just because he had food there, I guess. I don't know. They weren't bothering me whatsoever, but there was probably 20 flies trying to eat his food and drink his coffee. I must make good food. It was banana pancakes or something and that I made him, and I put an egg in them so that he'd get the extra protein. But, well, I wasn't going to paint all the way down to the middle part, but apparently I am. I mean, down to where the film is at, but I was trying to get a straight line, but apparently I'm struggling at straight lines at this point, so let me turn my fan on here just so it should be on anyway, but okay. Our rose looks like it's cured. That looks good. And I'm getting paint all over my well, nobody's perfect. So that'll help the paint dry a little bit too with the fan on. I should have had it on because I'm doing resin. But a lot of times it blows the diamond dust and whatever else I'm using. You know, if I'm using the mica powders, it'll blow the mica powders all over the place. So I don't always put the fan on, even though I should, because I don't wear a mask. But I also don't believe that any harm can come to me from something that I'm doing that I thoroughly enjoy, so. All right, well, that's the back side. It looks relatively dry. However, we're gonna flip it over anyway, just so we can get it done on this side. Well, this is what we're doing, I guess. So we're just gonna do it right here to this edge. Well, I re-uploaded my other video of the storms rolling in on Thursday that I told you at the beginning of this video for, you know, that took forever. It took till just now for me to, I mean, I've been checking it to see if it uploaded, and I'm like, why isn't it uploading? That's taking forever. And it just said it couldn't upload. So I deleted that one and I'm trying again. So maybe you guys will get it, maybe you won't. I don't know. It's hard to say either way. So, okay, that's painted. Can you guys see that? I got both sides painted. Let's let that dry for just a minute. I'll put my paint over here so I don't stick my elbow in it, because I do that often. Like, look at my hands. Like, I've already got paint everywhere, and like, what are we doing here? Just doing some minor painting. Oh, I gotta cure that so I can clean that out. And then this, you know what I like to do with some of these is, I do have a paintbrush that I use sometimes and paint the edges of some of these roses, kind of like this one. See where I painted like purple on the edges? Well, I may like to do that on this one with some, well, if I wouldn't have turned the fan on, but I need the fan on to dry this, so we're just gonna go with that, and I'm gonna see if I can put a little of this in here. How about we do that? We'll put a little of that in. We'll use some diamond dust. We'll put a little, it's gonna blow all over. Okay. We'll mix that in. It's just diamond dust, which is just basically very, very fine sparkle. I'm chewing on my paintbrush. So I was just thinking of putting that on the edges, maybe. Like this. Just so it's a little sparklier in some spots. Just because it's pretty. You know, I'm over the whole my identity being stolen thing, so I mean, that was horrible, a horrible thing to have happen. It really, really was. And normally I'm on top of that kind of stuff. I don't normally get caught up in the mess of things like that, and it really sucks that I got sucked into it. Basically, it was a scam from somebody claiming to be a Venmo representative and trying to do a business-to-business transaction, and she supposedly sent me $400 and I had to send it back, and he was walking me through how to send it back, but what he was doing was stealing my money. So I should have been a little more hip to it, but anyway, that's all in the past, and I'm putting it behind me, and I just know that it will never happen again in any way, shape, or form. But I don't want to talk about it anymore anyway. So I just brought it up to let you guys know I'm okay. You know, I'm normally upbeat and I'm normally pretty happy most of the time. I have my moments, of course. I'm really dying for some long-term freedom, but the way my situation is at this time, that's not in the cards, but that's okay too, because I signed up for this, what I signed up for, you know. I signed up for this program, you know, to take care of my dad, so I'll do it as long as it needs to be done. It's been 3 years. I've been doing it for 3 years, which I know it's not forever. It's okay. So that's why it's okay, because I know that I will appreciate what I did after the fact. And I know I did it for a purpose, because there was a lot of stuff between he and I that needed to be healed and recognized and healed, and I've really, really grown through a lot of that. I know he hasn't, and that's fine, because, you know, that's his soul. You know, he's at a point where he doesn't even know his name most of the time, so, and that's okay. I'm moving on, and I'm learning and growing, and that's what's important, so that I can learn and grow. I mean, I'm not worried, you know, I don't have to worry about him as much, because he's his own person, and, you know, he's in a different space, because, you know, he has dementia, so he's in a totally different space than me. So I'm basically just painting like the edges of this rose, just to give it a little more sparkle, as if it needed more sparkle. I hear you guys, but you can never have too much glitter. Is there such a thing as too much glitter? I don't think so. I just love to use glitter and glow in the dark and all this other stuff all the time, as often as I can. What is that? Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much dried. A little bit that's not, but that looks good. It looks good. It actually looks pretty good. So this one, I think I just put clear over, if you can see that, and then I glued a bail on the back. I think I had to sand down the back just a little bit to put the bail on, which I may have to do with this one as well. All right, I'll probably fill in the back, because this, I don't know, it feels really rough. You know what, let's do that now while we're waiting for this to cure. We're just gonna fill that in. I'm gonna leave it so that it's got the color showing, as opposed to like putting a black over it or something that's got sparkle all over it, so I can't use that. I just want to make sure that this is covered, which it relatively is. Well, let's leave that under there. Okay, so let's cure that just to make sure that that's cured, and then we're going to stick this on the front. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to stick it on. I think possibly what we're going to do is stick it on with resin and then cure it from the back side. Can I even do that with this? I don't even know how that's going to work. I mean, I can cure it using my, well, I guess I can turn it upside down, but you don't want to really look at these little lights on the UV lights. But we're going to see, and we're going to do our best. Like, some of these are so pretty. Look at those colors. Can you see the colors? Like, look at that. Like, that's just several pieces of dichroic film. I just love dichroic film. Obviously, I didn't do too many with my, you know, with these new bulbs that I got yesterday, but I'm thinking about putting them in, like putting these little flowers in like a heart shape, and then putting these inside of it, you know, or whatever ones will fit, because I think that might fit inside or outside. I mean, it can go on the outside too. Not a problem. I don't know, just gotta let that creativity flow and have fun with it. guess that's why we're here. We're doing this one, huh? Because we're just letting that creativity flow and having fun with it. I know this is the back, but you know what? Look at that. Look at how pretty. I mean, that would be gorgeous as a necklace. Gorgeous. I may use that side because it's, you know what? I'm using this side. I like it better because there's more pinks in it. There's more reds in it. The other side is a little more bluish. And that's not the background I wanted for that. So I'm going to use this. All right. So I'm going to put the resin on here, just in a little blob. And then I'm going to put this rose in the middle. And then I'm going to set it to cure, and if it doesn't cure from the top, we're going to have to cure it from the bottom, which I don't know. I mean, I could super glue it. Of course I have super glue, you know, I could super glue it, but I don't know how that would work either. So I know my area is a mess. If you guys could see my table, like I had to get a box. Can you see it over there? I had to get a box and to put everything in, and I had to literally move all of the paint stuff off of my table because I've spread out my resin stuff. Not that I'm done painting, because I did do a painting last week. I put some of my glow-in-the-dark paints in one of the paints that I was making. I did a moon, and then I put some of the glow-in-the-dark paints in the background to look like the sky, you know, with like you know, just colors. You know, it was gray, but you know, it had some glow-in-the-dark stuff with it, so it actually came out really, really cool. But I don't know if this is working. Well, I think it is. Let's do it this way. Try not to look at that light, because I don't think you're supposed to look at the light. But I want to like cook it from all angles, if that makes sense. Can we do it from this way? Oh, yeah, we can. Let's try not to look at it. There we go. There, now you guys don't have to look at it. How about that? I love it. Love it, love it. See, so, but I'm making a mess. I make a mess everywhere I go. So I'm a fan of organization, because you know I was in the military, in the Air Force, so I'm a fan of organization. However, I just find myself with messes all over the place. I think it has to do with my creativity. You know what I mean? Like I'm creative, so the creative in me is overriding the organizational section of me. So basically, I don't know. I've got all this. I like I said, I got stuck on a part trying to get the my Etsy store up. I got stuck on a part where I was uploading the photos, but they were coming up as read-only from my phone to my laptop, and I just haven't been able to figure it out. I need to ask ChatGPT, which I did once, and I got an answer that I wasn't able to, still wasn't able to do it. So I switched my photos from high definition to compatible, and it still brought them up as read-only. So that's where I got stopped at. So I know everything happens for a reason. Everything is organized, you know. So I know when the time is right, I will be able to put my charms on a site and sell them. So a lot of them have chains already with them, like a black chain, and then I put a lobster claw on each one and attach it, and then I put just the tiniest bit of resin on it to hold the little thing closed so that they stay together longer. I did order some silver chain, no, not sterling silver, just regular silver chain to go on my charms, And of course I ordered more bales because I'm running out. I had 100, and the charms that didn't have holes in them, I put bales on, and I'm running low. So like I did this one. Some dollars with some black background, and then I did some dollars with a dichroic film behind them, and then a clear background. I mean, look at that. That's cool. It's green. So anyway, well, that looks like it's done.
Are we gonna go yet?
So that would be my daughter. I don't know where she wants to go, but
What?
she's going to the store. Anyway, that's how that came out. That came out really, really good. I think it's on there pretty solid too. It was curing from the bottom, so I think all we need to do is put a bail on it, and like that. Yeah. Anyway, I guess she forgot that I was making a video. But anyway, I understand because she's playing her game and had her headphones on. So let's put this over here, and we're gonna bring our Dremel here. We need to change the end on it. Hi, Wishbone. What's up, buddy? We need to make it the sanding end, which is this one. Can you guys see that? We're gonna sand that. Well, first I gotta figure out where I want it, which is the top. I think that looks good. Right there. So what we want to do is we want to sand that down a little bit. Just enough. So that the bale sits relatively relatively flush. A little more right here. Well, I think that'll work. So let's get our, first we want to clean that off a little bit. Just get a little rubbing alcohol and just clean that off real quick. Put that fan blow on it for just a second. Okay, now that I just cleaned it off, okay, we're gonna throw a dollop of super glue on there. Obviously want it to be straight. So it literally has to be pointing down, not at an angle. That is pointing down and not at an angle, I think. Tough to get it just straight though, that's for sure. And I'm moving it all over, so really I need to add some more glue. All right, let's try that again. That looks good. So now, that's a little too much water in that black paint there, but I did want to cover over what we just filed off without getting glue all over the brush, which if we did, you know what, it's okay. Everything's okay. It's all okay. And there we go. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Like fabulous. What's all over my shirt? Great, I got black paint on my new shirt. But look how pretty. That's gonna look so pretty on a black chain. I love it. Look at the dimension, like 3D look. So cool. So pretty. Matte black. I mean, I can make it clear. I can put some clear over the black too if the matte black isn't. What do you guys think? Wow, that was a long video. 47 minutes. Holy moly, I don't think I've ever made a video that long. But that sure was fun to make. It was so much fun to make. Thank you guys for being here. I love you. I've missed you. I hope to see you in the next one. No, you don't normally see me with glasses on, but I do wear glasses for like reading and stuff and for fun, whatever. The fan's blowing in my eyeballs, so it's drying out my eyeballs. But I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy Sunday.